Hello and welcome, and today in Photoshop I am going to show you how you can use the distort displace to create something that looks a little like this glitched out effect. We can just go ahead and apply it a couple of times to get this really nasty, really gritty effect on our text. Yeah, it's that simple. That was the tutorial. Thank you. Basically, you can use one of the many displacement maps that I have available for free at my itch, so go check it out if you don't want to make your own textures. The way distort displace works is that as long as you have a smart object, it's going to apply the effect in accordance to the map. So let's say over here I have a map that's the same size as our artboard, and it's just a single square, so we can really learn and understand how the displace works. I'm going to set it to 1010. And then I'm gonna choose the square, and there you go. So as you probably have guessed, using this effect, the square has sort of pushed our graphics around. What happens is that in the black area, pixels are pushed 10 down and 10 to the right, and in the white area, pixels are pushed 10 up and 10 to the left. 10 is simply because in the settings here, the horizontal scale and the vertical scale, we have 1010, which means that if I double click this effect and I go in and I say 0 and I reapply the square, you will see here that now there's only vertical scale, so there's no horizontal scale. The other thing to notice is that as long as you use displace on a smart object, the displace will be applied to the artboard, meaning that if I go in and rasterize this and say filter displace, the two should be similar, and as you see they are, because it now applied that effect to the artboard size. If however I go in and I do a random selection, say here, this is now going to be my new artboard, which means if I go filter displace now, you will see that it sort of applies the effect in a funky way. This is nice to know because you could basically go in and you can do something like this, and if I apply the effect with the shortcut here, you will now see that this glitches in a very sort of funky way. Obviously for this square that is not really super useful, but if we go in and we create a funny selection here, go in, say distort displace, and we take one of the more exciting textures, you can start to see some funkiness happen. Now here I think that the H needs a little love, so I go here and I just use this shortcut to reapply. You can see now it's starting to glitch out. So the nice thing about this is that you have a little more control over what it is you're doing and how it is you're applying it. So perhaps you've seen this animation and wondered how I did that, and I am glad to tell you that it's super easy. Basically what you do is you go in and you make as many instances of the text you want. You just make one per frame, and then you simply just apply the displace distort texture on each frame, and you just apply a new displacement map on each one. You just make sure that they are ever so slightly different. We're just gonna fast forward here. I've applied the texture on all my frames, and then I'm gonna go in here and I'm just gonna take the top one, I'm gonna make it another color. I'm just gonna lower the opacity so I can see where it is, and I'm gonna use this as a guide. I'm gonna use it as a guide to place all my layers, so just make sure that it's not the text that's jumping around, but the effect. Of course we can't get this 100% right, but it's just more or less even. From here we go to window, we go to timeline, go to create frame animation, and on the first layer we have this activated. We do another layer, just activate the next layer, activate the next layer, activate the next layer, and activate the last layer. And you can play around with the timing for this. For my sake, I like 0.05. And there you go, you have a small glitch animation. Then we go to File, Export, Save for Web Legacy. And here basically what you want to do is if you're doing a black and white effect like I am, you just want to go up on colors, you just want to select not as many colors just to keep the file size of the GIF down. You want to say looping options forever, and you just want to save it somewhere that you can't find it again like the desktop. And that's it. That's basically how I created a GIF. Now the last thing I want to show you before I'm going to let you off the hook is, what if you want this to not be purely black and white? You want that nice color distortion in there, nice color glitch effect. Well, you go in here and you disable the color layers in the blending options. Then you duplicate it. You can now double click over here. You choose a green channel, and finally you duplicate here and you choose the red channel. It's back to black, but what happens now is that if I push just one channel, you'll start to see this color distortion happen. So we can utilize that by going to the displace and start displacing our color channels individually, and you start to see the effect take place. I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to do some a different texture and some different numbers, and as you see here, wow, that was crazy. Maybe that was a little too much. So I can, because it's a smart object, I can go in here and I can say 5 instead. And there we go. So basically that's how you sort of distort it in a colorful way as well. And you can turn this effect up and down, and you can also use it on images. That's basically the tutorial for today, so thank you so much. If you want the displacement maps, go to my itch page and download them. They are free, but I wouldn't mind if you just paid a little something if you can afford it and you find them useful. Show me the work that you create with them and leave a comment if this was helpful. Thank you, bye.